to the Mr. Think Smart Show. I have a very special guest, and I'm in her building. I'm not in my building, I'm in hers. So, who is in front of us? Miss Boone. Me and Miss Boone go so far back. I don't even know if she remember when I was a student at Harris State University when she was working. I forget what was it, admissions?
Yeah, more than likely.
It was, I think it was admissions. And it was your voice that I heard first, and I heard you telling somebody how to get into school, because I had just came back and I was at Flow Valley and I was in there just ear hustling. You said it, I went and got it, came back and I got in. You don't even know that story.
I know, I had no clue.
And to move forward, later on after I graduated, I ended up working under your leadership. And that's how I got, it's one of the reasons why I got to the position I am now with dealing with youth and young adults in all educational levels.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, the woman of the hour. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are.
It's simple. It's simple. I am LaShanda R, and currently I am the head of school of the Salle Charter Schools. I am a lifelong learner, simply put.
Great. You know what? And now I want to talk about, because not only are you a black woman in power, you're empowering our youth, but let's talk about your journey.
Sure.
So you started out, we can start off in high school. So what high school did you go to?
I'm a proud graduate of Quadra College Preparatory High School.
There we go. Then you went from there, then your next school, which is college, which was what?
Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina.
And it is a what?
It is an HBCU.
There we go. There we go. That's what I want to get to. And there, you started your journey on where you want to take your life.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I majored in elementary education and did not know at the time that I wanted to be an educator. It just seemed like a perfect fit. And from there, came back to St. Louis and started teaching in elementary schools, but at the very same time, I did not feel that that was the right fit for me. I wanted to be in a position where I could positively make change in the lives of students. I knew very, very quickly that those students should look like me, right? I wanted to be in a position where I could provide students what I had been provided. And at the time, my mentors were Mr. Leon Henderson, who was my leadership teacher at Carter, and Mr. Michael Blackshear, who was my dean of students, or the dean of students at the time when I was going to Ritter. Those were my mentors, and I wanted to be able to positively affect change the way they had done so in my life. So I quickly began looking for jobs in higher education. Soon after doing a small stint at a predominantly white institution, I was hired at Harris State University. It felt like home, if that makes sense. You know, I was back at an HBCU. I was dealing with students who looked like me. I was assisting students who not all the time made the correlation between what they wanted out of life to a degree, but at the very same time, I knew that it was my life's work to get them to understand that and to assist them in their pursuit of that baccalaureate. I knew I wanted to move up though in education, right? So I went on to the University of Missouri St. Louis and received my master's, and then continued my education in pursuit of my PhD at University of Missouri St. Louis. Unfortunately, my career ended at Harris Stowe after about 15 years. I went into federal service, became a federal agent. Still working with schools though. I was responsible for 228 schools. But being in all those schools and going to all those campuses on a daily basis, I always left getting in my car feeling the very same way, right? That I needed to be back in a singular building, positively affecting change with students that, again, look like me. I wanted to ensure that students of color understood that the way to have their lives transformed was through education. Saw the position open at LaSalle Charter Schools for head of school, applied, and here I am today. I've been at LaSalle going I'm ending my 4th year. So, I could not be happier being on this campus, assisting my middle schoolers figure out where they want to go in terms of high school, and also exposing them to college. Because at LaSalle, we do not let our students go at 8th grade. The mission of the institution is to transform their lives. The only way to do that is to and through college. I kind of have the best of both worlds, right? I'm getting a child at the right age where for them education really matters, and I'm able to guide them in such a way for them to see themselves on a college campus and receiving the degree, breaking the cycle of poverty and transforming not only their family but their neighborhood and their community as well.
That is that is wonderful. It's beautiful. Every time I've heard it before, but you saying it again and again, it's more beautiful as I hear it, because we have that same mirror of loving the educational side of these individuals. We understand the purity of the child and getting them to where they need to go to be the best person they can be. That's thinking smart. That is what we do. That's what we're programming. I appreciate that information and all that journey. So now at the school, talk a little bit about your school and your students. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So our kids usually fall into what I classify as 7 buckets. They're of color, low income, they're first generation college. They're 1 to 3 academic levels behind. So usually we get them, they're not on a grade level. They come from single parent households. They've experienced some sort of trauma in their lifetime, and their households are usually led by women. Not necessarily always a mom, sometimes an aunt, sometimes a grandmother, sometimes a family friend. So they come to us facing what many people would consider the most barriers towards success. But when they walk into our doors, one of the first things we get our kids to recognize is that they are somebody. Their situation and circumstance don't define who they are. They define who they are and where they'll be in life. Sometimes they have to be guided towards such, and that's our job. So, the job of the teachers and administrators in my building is just not to teach math and reading, ELA, social studies. It's also to be able to equip our kids with what they need in order to be successful outside of the classroom. So our kids participate in enrichment activities through our foundation, which is De La Salle. So our kids participate in karate, robotics, coding, African drumming, and it's all part of what we do every day. Our kids receive 3 hot meals a day. So they receive breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So before kids depart our campus, they also receive dinner. We provide assistance to our families for high school. So many of our kids go to private and independent high schools. I have kids at CPC, Village Shan, Partner Ritter, which is my alma mater, Rosati Kane, Crossroads, you name it, right? And then we also ensure our kids go on to college, because again, it's about transforming their lives. 98% of our kids graduate from high school, 81% of them go on to college.
That's wonderful. You know what, Boone? I appreciate you. This is a great message. I'm going to make sure I push it as hard as I can, and we're going to get as many views. I want everybody in the world to know who you are, what you're doing, and what you've done for this school, and what you're trying to do for education across the world. Thank you.
Thank you.